name is Dennis. I'm a third-year medical student studying here in Bulgaria, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about three topics. 1, preparing for marriage. 2, Christian relationships. And 3, crushes. I know, I can feel the awkwardness through the screen right now, so I'll just jump right into it. Alright, the first topic, preparing for marriage. Now, this is a bit of an awkward one because I am neither engaged nor am I married. But that's not the kind of preparing for marriage thing that I mean. What I actually mean is praying for that one person that you're gonna one day end up marrying, regardless of whether you actually know who it is or you don't. Now I know this might seem like a huge step for some people because they're like, I am nowhere near marriage. And I understand that. But think about what marriage is. You're gonna be spending the rest of your life with this one person. You're going to be living in the same house. You're even going to be raising kids together. So doesn't it make sense to start praying for that person early? For this person who's going to be playing such a big role in your life. I mean, take me for example. I have no idea who I'm going to marry. I have no idea who she is. She has been in stealth mode for, how long is it? 21 years now. And who knows how long she'll continue. But even though that's the case, I still, and this is going to sound a bit cheesy, but I still offer up a rosary for her every night. I know, it's cringy, but hey, man's got to do what a man's got to do, alright? Jeez. And I offer up the rosary for 2 things. The first thing I offer it up for is so that when I eventually do meet the person, God will, let me know, like, give me a small nudge, like, hey, she's the one. You get me? And the second thing I pray for is something that a lot of us might actually overlook. The second thing I pray for is that God will turn me into the man I need to be to meet my wife. I'm sure all of you have many conceptions about what your future husband or wife will be like. Smart, funny, talented, attractive, an all-round incredible human being. But if you want your partner to be that awesome, then surely first, you have to be that awesome as well. And that's why I say that prayer, so that God will turn me into the man I need to be to meet someone as awesome as my wife. I don't want her to meet me and get to know me and then go, oh. I want her to go, oh. You get me? So start praying for that person today. Just tell God, hey God, I want to get married. But I'm not sure who it's going to be or when it's going to be. But I'm going to leave all of that up to you. Because God's timing is perfect, and His choice is excellent. Now, that brings us on to the second topic, Christian relationships. This is simultaneously for those currently in a relationship, and also for those who are single, just so that you know what to do when you get into a relationship. Right off the bat, I will say this. Christian relationships have to be angled towards marriage. You should be getting into a relationship in the first place thinking, yeah, there's a good chance I might end up marrying this person. Now, some people get into relationships, just to see how it goes or on like maybe an impulse decision. Personally, I can't really see a point in that because why get into something that you either know or have a strong suspicion will end one day? Why? Because if I'm getting into a relationship, I'm going to be putting in 110%. Why set myself up for heartbreak like that? Now, let's assume that you are in a relationship that is angled towards marriage. That's where the importance of boundaries comes in. And let's just keep it simple and talk about physical boundaries. Why have these boundaries in the first place? What is their ultimate purpose? The boundary's purpose is to stop you from doing something that you'll later regret, to stop you from doing something that's wrong in the eyes of God, and to stop you from not just sinning, but also to keep you away from situations where there's a high risk of you sinning. And when you set these boundaries, they shouldn't be designed to get you as close to the line as possible. In fact, they're meant to get you as far away from the line as you can. And now figuring out what these boundaries are going to be is going to require some serious communication between you and your partner. It will have to be a very open, honest conversation, and both of you are going to have to be really brave about it. For example, like saying that these are the things that you will do, and these are situations that you don't want to be in. And it's a process. It's not a one conversation done kind of thing. No, it's a process and it's a journey. that both of you will have to take together so you can, grow and mature in your relationship. Okay, now that we've set these boundaries, how do we stick to them? Setting boundaries is one thing, but actually keeping them is a whole other situation. Like, let me give you an example. How many of us make revision schedules when exam season comes around? And how many of us actually stick to those revision schedules? Now you might have an idea of what I'm saying. Now, the best way I can think of to actually stick to these boundaries is to invite God into it. Ephesians 1:22 says, "And God put everything under his feet being Jesus, and made him head over everything for the church." Because then you'll be committed to not just your partner, but also to God. And that's the biggest accountability partner that you can get. Now, I was talking to this about a friend of mine, and he gave me a really good analogy as to why you should put God at the head of your relationship. And I even drew out a schematic for you guys. Look at this. It's a triangle-based theory. So you've got God at the top, you've got you, and you've got your partner. Now, if your relationship is built to honor God, and as both of you get closer and closer to God, at the same time, both of you are getting closer and closer to each other. And that's the thing. People are worried that if you put God at the head of a relationship that you might not be able to love your partner as much. But like the triangle says, the more you love God, the more you can actually love your partner as well. And that should give you the why. The why, the reason that you're setting these boundaries in the first place. Because they're there so that you can honor God and you can honor your partner as well. And you can love them even more. Now that brings us on to the third topic, and arguably the most awkward one, crushes. I'm not talking about like celeb crushes, I'm talking about crushes on people that you either see or people that you message. Now, right off the bat, I will say this, crushes are not a sin. They're not a bad thing. Everybody gets crushes. But the problem arises when people misunderstand what a crush is. Because the definition of a crush is a feeling of romantic attraction towards a person. However, a crush is not a feeling that you get when you see, how do I put this delicately, when you see a certain anatomical features of the person. That's not a crush, that's lust. And lust is dangerous because then, if you're lusting after someone, you're at risk of turning that person who is this amalgamation of experiences and of personality, you're at risk of turning all that into a mere sexual object. If I ask you right now to think about your crush and you can't actually remember their face, then that's not a crush. You're lusting after that person. If you're still struggling to distinguish between lust and a crush, let me tell you how I feel if I have a crush. Don't make too much fun of me for this. So if I have a crush and that person is either standing next to me or is in the near vicinity, suddenly I can't concentrate. Suddenly everything else kind of just fades into the background. And if I ever even get a text from the person, I can't stop myself grinning. I know a lot of you can, relate to this, so don't make too much fun of me. But yeah, it's very innocent, and that's kind of how it should be. It's a simple attraction and respect for that person and for who they are. Now, another thing that you have to watch out for is thinking about your crush too much. Now, I'm not talking about, when they pop into your head from time to time. I'm talking about thinking about them 24/7. When you're thinking and obsessing about them so much that you start seeing them in public, even when they're not there. You start hearing their voice. I mean, at that point, when your head is just filled with your crush, you have placed your crush above God. And that goes against the first commandment. I am the Lord thy God, thou shalt not have any strange gods before me. Because at that stage, it becomes almost like a worship. And that person becomes the sole owner of your thoughts, of your attention, and of your time. But yeah, those are the things you just have to watch out for. Distinguishing whether that person is actually a crush or whether you're lusting after the person. And also not to dwell on your crush so much that you put them above God. And yeah, that brings us to the end of our talk. Now, we've talked about three things today. We've talked about preparing for marriage, how you should start praying for that person that you one day will marry early. The second thing, Christian relationships, how you should put God at the head of your relationship. And if you both honor God, you'll simultaneously grow closer to God and to each other. And number 3, crushes. Learning how to distinguish between a crush on someone or whether you're lusting after them, and also not to dwell on your crush too much. Thank you, all of you, for bearing with me through these awkward topics, and I hope I was able to help at least a few of you. So God bless, and stay safe.